We all want to be more productive. We all want to get more work done, get distracted less, and feel good about it. But the problem is no one actually has a system in place to teach you how to become more productive without doing more in your life. Because a lot of people are super busy and don't have time for rigid productivity plans. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down in 4 sections how to change your consciousness from going to a distracted mindset into a productive mindset so that you can build a productivity system so good that you literally cannot fail at anything you put your mind to. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Before we jump into the exact system, I want to change your mindset about something. When people think about productivity, people think about doing more and putting more into their system to become more productive. But that's counterintuitive. You only actually become productive when you eliminate all the distractions from your day-to-day life. People get confused because when they think they want to be more productive, the more part of that thinks they need to add something to their life, when in reality, they don't. They just need to limit the distractions. Sam Ovens did a quantum mastermind about 5 years ago talking about this exact thing and how he stays so productive. If you don't know Sam Ovens, he is a multi-millionaire. And he has a very, very rigid productivity system that he uses every single day. And it's built into his daily schedule, so it's not some fancy hacks that he does. He just sits down and gets work done. But for the majority of people, that's not the reality. And why is that? Well, that's because we have too much going on. I don't want to go into too much detail about Sam Ovens' productivity routine, but literally every single minute of his day is mapped out and optimized to his routine to get the most stuff done for the day. He limits all distractions. He makes sure every single minute of his day is optimized. And I told this story in one of my past videos, but he literally had a home gym built for $10,000 because it was cheaper to make the gym and not travel 20 minutes each direction to go to a gym, because he makes more money in that 40 minutes of travel than it's worth doing. So he just bit the bullet and made a home gym for about $10,000, and now he doesn't lose that time traveling to and from the gym, losing him about 40 minutes a day. Now that's some very, very high level stuff, but here's something that isn't so high level. If you look at Alex Hormozi and you look at his not sort of productivity routine, but you look at the way he works and the way that he sets up his work environment, it's super, super focused based. He sits down, he puts earplugs in and noise canceling earmuffs in. He doesn't listen to any music. He basically turns all the lights off and he just sits down and works. And I've tried this before. I've put in earbuds and I've put on noise canceling headphones before. And when I tell you, once you get past the first 5 minutes, you will be the most locked in you have ever felt before. So if nothing else, you can go try that right now and see how it works. But there is so much time to be had throughout the day that is spent on other things that you can actually chip down right now. Because the average person spends around 7 hours a day on their phone. Do you know how much productivity you would gain if you just knocked that down to about 4 hours a day? That would be around 700 more hours that you would have to be productive throughout the year. So if you just did that today, you would increase your productivity by 50%. Basically, what I want you to take from this section is to audit your time. See what's distracting you and see what you can chip down throughout the day to limit distractions, and so therefore you can inversely gain productivity. And keep in mind, it's usually the little things that tend to add up over time. It's the 30 minutes here, it's the hour over there, and when it comes down to it, it can lead to hours of the day when you're not being productive. So I want you to sit down right after this video and audit your day. It could be the day you just had, it could be yesterday, and clock down everything that you've been doing hour by hour to see where maybe you got distracted, maybe where you did something that you weren't supposed to, where you wasted time, anything like that. So the first thing I want you to do is audit your day. The second section I want to talk about is work blocks. Basically condensing down the things that you need to do for the day into concrete blocks throughout your day. The way that this works is when you group certain things together, like similar tasks, getting emails done in one work block, it trains your brain to not think as hard, into thinking about all the tasks it needs to do, and basically just sets you up for success more because you can just sit down and get that specific thing done for that work block. This could be anything from just doing one work block for emails, this could be one work block for just editing, but make sure you keep these things separate, because if you try to integrate them and you try to multitask, you're not going to get anything done. So now we're gonna take a quick look at my schedule that I follow pretty much daily. So you can see here, looking at my schedule, I wake up at around 6:50 a.m. and not super early. I'm not one of those people that gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning and it's just go, go, go. But you do see that I have to just get up and work. So I wake up, brush my teeth, and get straight to work. That's what some people call eat the frog, or I call it kill the dragon. And I'll explain that in just a moment. But you can see I get up and just get straight to work. And I work on the hardest task for the day because it's where your brain has the highest cognitive load that it can handle. Then I eat, and then I get ready for the gym, and I go to the gym until 11 a.m. Then I come back, eat, and shower. Then I have basically the whole rest of the day to work. I split it into 2 big work blocks and then 1 at the end of the day where I can finish undone work. And you have to make sure you have a break to have lunch and all that sort of stuff, because I'll talk about burnout at the end of this video. And you can see at the very, very end of my day, I have a time for reading. And this time is basically so I can learn if I'm reading a new book, or I can limit my blue light so I can get better sleep for the next day. So I briefly mentioned eat the frog, or as I call it, kill the dragon. And that's basically that first period of work when I just get up, brush my teeth, and get straight to work. Me doing the highest cognitive load that my brain can handle for the day. Basically, that just means you have to kill the dragon first thing in the morning, which is basically just doing the hardest task first thing in the morning. And you may think, oh, I don't think I can handle that. I'm not a morning person. Just try it once. And I guarantee you, maybe it won't work, and maybe you want to do your hardest tasks at night, but for me, that's what works, and I just want to share what works for me, so maybe it can give some value to you as well. So I do my hardest tasks first thing in the morning, and then I go eat, and then I go to the gym. And I found that that helps me tremendously, because I want to do the hardest task, and at least if I don't do anything for the rest of the day, which never happens, at least I feel productive for that first part of the day, and at least I can get some work done. And I guarantee you, if you've been procrastinating that one task for days or even months on end, it will take 20 times as fast as you think it might take. Whenever I've procrastinated things in the past, like making a presentation, making one of these videos, I start doing it and it takes me probably an hour less than I thought it was gonna take. Maybe it takes the same amount of time, but at least I get it done. And then after all that work, and as we start to get towards the end of the day, you want to start planning today, tomorrow. And basically what that means is you plan everything today for tomorrow, like the name suggests. And here's some tips that I want to show you to help you get started with this. Sam Ovens talks about this a lot in his 5-hour productivity seminar that he put on YouTube, and I'll link it down in the description below if you want to go watch it. But basically what it is, you want to cut down the cognitive load in the morning from planning tasks and planning what you're going to do for the rest of the day by just doing it the day before. And that way, when you wake up the next morning, you can just get up and get straight to work, exactly like I do. So here's some ways that you can plan today, tomorrow. Number 1, dump your brain out. Write down anything that's been floating around your brain for the day, anything you forgot to do the day before, any errands you need to run, any harsh deadlines that you need to meet, anything, just anything. Just put it down on the piece of paper, and it doesn't matter if it's not organized, at least just get it down. Next up, you need to write down the top 3 things. And basically, you want to write down the top 3 things that you need to get done for the next day. And now those would be killing your dragon, as I like to say. And those would be the things that you would do that would make the next day a win. So if you didn't do anything else and you just did those 3 things, you would feel productive. These are the hardest and most important tasks. Then we move on to number 3, which is time blocking it. You may notice in my Google Calendar, I don't actually have any specific times where I do specific tasks. That means, and that's because I do it the day before. I just set up a basic schedule for myself based on my current lifestyle. If you're a student, you can block in classes. If you have a job, you can block in your job as well. But if you have a work block, then you can plan what you're going to do in that work block when you're journaling or when you're writing down what you're going to do tomorrow. That way you just have a specific time block for you to do stuff. That way over the next couple days you can just add in what you need to do, and it's flexible. But you have to make sure that you do it concretely. So you don't just say to yourself, I'm gonna make a Google slideshow presentation, for example. Say I'm going to make 20 slides in the next 90 minutes. You have to make it concrete Otherwise, your brain is just gonna think it's all fluffy and up in this little cloud space. You're not gonna be able to do it, all right? The more specific it is, the more likely it is that you're gonna follow through with it. And trust me, I've learned this from past experience, and it is 100% true, and I don't think it changes for pretty much anyone. Number 4 is prepping your environment. This means going to your desk, going to your room in general, seeing if it's dirty, seeing if there's anything that will stop you from getting to work straight in the morning. This way, you can just get up and, like I said before, just get straight to work. Literally make it stupid easy to just go from your bed, go brush your teeth, and get to work. If there's any friction whatsoever, your cognitive load for that morning goes down drastically, and your brain isn't going to be able to handle those harder tasks as much or even at all. And then number 5, setting a hard start date. That's just sort of tying back into the daily schedule and setting concrete times for things. But if you don't have a hard start date, then that also plays into the cognitive load in the morning. If you just get up and think to yourself at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting down and doing work, that's another decision you don't have to make, and that's another decision that isn't chipping down your cognitive load for the day. So if you do all those things, you will start to become productive. But then what? What's gonna happen next? Well, if you do that every single day, you will start to become more productive, but then you will start to burn out. I made this mistake, and it was abundantly clear to me that I could not keep up the schedule for a long period of time. That's why I'm leaving in this 4th section, which is taking breaks. If you just sit down and work every single day for the next 6 months, you are going to burn out and you are going to hate your life. Take it from me, that's what happened to me, and I guarantee you, you are going to feel the same. So every couple days, maybe every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, take a day off, take a break. When this happens, I start to want to come back and do work. On those days where I don't go to, let's say, to the gym, or I don't work on any script writing, YouTube video editing, or anything like that, when I take a break, I think, you know, tomorrow I'm gonna be very excited to go back and do that, because without this, my life can be kind of boring. And so by the end of the day, I go to bed while planning tomorrow today, and I am excited for the next morning where I can get up and start work again. So it's a win-win. You prevent yourself from burning out, and you wake up the next morning wanting to go back to work and wanting to work hard. And that's really it for productivity. Everyone makes it so much more complicated than it has to be. So doing a little recap, you really want to, number 1, audit your time. You want to make sure that whatever distractions that you have in your day are being mapped. And even though you will not be perfect the next day, at least try to chip down on that time where you're distracted, or you're not getting work done, or you're not just being productive in general. Number 2 is work blocks. So setting concrete times for doing specific things and grouping those things into a group and making sure you get those things done together so that there's the least load on your cognitive ability. Then the 3rd thing was plan tomorrow today. So in the evenings, you just sit down with your journal and you plan tomorrow today. You just set a bunch of goals for the next day so that when you wake up, there's no decision making whatsoever and you get straight to work. And then the final one is leave time for yourself. Take a break every 1 to 2 weeks, and you will feel yourself wanting to come back to work and feeling more excited than ever to start working hard again and to get back into it without feeling burnt out. So that's all for today's video. Please consider liking and subscribing, and I'm going to be posting many more videos in the future, so you're gonna wanna stick around. And if you wanna know how to grow on social media, you can go and click this video right here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.